Good afternoon, one and all. I'm Chani Thakkar, a student from the Geography Department of Chogle College, and it gives me great pleasure and privilege to introduce our next speaker, Dr. S.M. Nadaf, who is Professor and Vice Principal of the Mallikarjun College in Cancuna. Dr. Nadaf's extensive knowledge in the field of geography extends from ecosystems, environment, and ecology to the most recent technology of geographical information systems. Popularly known as a very enthusiastic and motivating teacher, he has a rich experience of 29 years of teaching and a PhD in the environmental geography from Karnataka University. Our department is extremely grateful for his presence here today for the webinar on perspectives of tourism in Goa. Since out of his 30 insightful research papers and articles, some of the most articulate ones cover the impacts of tourism on the environment of Goa, coastal tourism, sustainable tourism in Goa, and a geographical diagnosis of Goa's tourism. Dr. Nadaf has also been the recipient of State's Best Teacher Award by the Directorate of Higher Education Goa and the Bhugal Ratna by the Deccan Geographers National Level Association. Additionally, he is a popular columnist in local newspapers on coastal environment. Currently, he is a recognized research guide who is supervising 5 research students under Goa University. Over to you, Dr. Nadaf.
Thank you very much, Chandani, for your beautiful introduction and a warm welcome. At the outset, I thank Professor Dr. Nandakumar Sawant, my very good friend, for giving me an opportunity to share some of my thoughts on the environmental aspects of tourism. Respected the panelist, Victor Gomes, Gavin Dias, my students from my college and students from Chowgula College, teachers, and my dear friends. At the outset, I'm very happy to be part of this celebration of World Tourism Day. In fact, it was a few days back, but since the schedule of all of us was slightly busy, so therefore Dr. Sawant sir thought that we can have it today. So the result is we are here and celebrating the International uh, Tourism Day. Well, I'll be focusing only on the environmental aspects. So my presentation, in fact, starts with questions. Rather, what happens is after presentation, you have questions. So before presentation, I have questions. So I think during my presentation, some of the questions which are raised by the participants will be automatically solved. That is what I feel. I don't have to once again talk about the answers, because my presentation would also includes the answers for the questions which are already raised. So impact of tourism on environment is the title of my presentation. Time given to me is about 20 minutes. I will try my best to cover maximum whatever I can. I will not be going deeper into different aspects, so I'll be just touching upon various issues concerning the environment, having the impact of tourism in those lines. So we all know that tourist destinations, not only in Goa but throughout the world, are the most admired tourist destinations. And tourism today has become the spine of the economy. So Gavin was talking about that, how tourism is important and how it's going to play a very important role in the years to come. One very interesting thing is that tourism brings both constructive and destructive changes in the areas where tourism happens. So I'm focusing more on the coastal areas. I'm not going into the hinterland. My focus is only on the coast, because the type of tourism that we have in our state is basically coastal tourism or beach tourism. So we will have both constructive as well as destructive changes because of tourism in the coastal areas. Um, Unfortunately, The coastal areas across the world are experiencing a catastrophic change. There is a terrorization of seashores and the coastal societies. There's a lot of devastation taking place, maybe because of the human interference, or you could say at the most due to the climatic changes which is occurring. So our coastlines are not stable. Otherwise, also naturally they are not stable, but we are adding more and more problem to the coastlines. We should not forget that coastlines are very important, not only from the tourism point of view, but 60% of the world's population lives along the coastal areas. Any problem that occurs to the coastal areas will displace about 60% of the global population. So coastal areas are important apart from the tourism, but they are going through a very, very bad time because of the human interference and also because of the climatic changes. Goa is a very small state, a tiny state, having a length of about 105 kilometers. All of us know. But what is important is that out of that 105 kilometers of coastline, we have nearly 74 kilometers of sandy beaches. The rest, other things, includes the coastal, the rocky areas, or the estuaries or other different coastal landscapes. So 74, which is almost 70 to 73% of the coastline is sandy, so which is available for tourism purpose. The growth of tourism has been very, very rapid, but the problem is our growth is definitely there, but it's unplanned, unhaphazard. So we don't have a very systematic plan for the growth of tourism. People just flock in. Somehow we are managing, and because of that, we are putting a lot of stress and also strain on the limited coastal resources. This is one small table of the Department of Tourism, so that will give us an idea about how tourism is growing, both domestic as well as international tourism. So if you go back to 1980s, so we had 332,534 domestic tourist arrivals, and at the same time, so we had close to 34,288 foreign tourists. So roughly about 3.5 lakh tourists visited Goa in 1980. But if you look at the figure today, I'm taking figures just prior to the COVID-19, because during COVID-19, much of the data is not available. So therefore, I'm restricting myself to 2018, that is prior to COVID-19. So we had 70 lakh 81,599 domestic tourists visiting Goa, and about 9 lakh 33,841 foreign tourists. So when we combine both, so we have about 80 lakh visitors in 2018, of which 88, 48 or 49% consisted of the domestic. Sorry, the major share is of the domestic tourists, which comes close to about 85 to 90%. When it comes to the growth rate from 2015 to 2018, our tourism is growing at a rate of 48.88%. That is the domestic tourism. And whereas our international tourism is growing at a rate of 72.46%, and the overall growth is 51.29%, which is exceptionally good. But the problem is we don't have a plan to accommodate this huge number of visitors. Don't forget, apart from 80 lakh visitors that we had in 18, we also have our own population, which is close to 15 lakh. We have our population, we have tourists, and plus the floating population. So those people are not counted anywhere because they just come, visit, and go, because they don't have any record. So they also come in thousands. So we have huge problem with regards to the number of people visiting here. Let's come to my main area, that is the tourism and emerging environmental concerns. One major concern that we have today is the physical changes and habitat damage. This is a major problem that Goa is facing. Not only Goa, any other place where you have beach tourism, coastal tourism will undergo with this kind of problem. The coast of Goa is dotted with nearly 30 beautiful beaches covering an area of about 24,90,500 square meters of area, which is, as I said, visited by about 80 lakh people. And also, we have large number of local population visiting. And in this tourist belt, we have close to 3,835 different categories of hotels who are providing the basic amenities, the accommodation, and other facilities to the tourists. And also, we have 63-star hotels. Just imagine we have 105 kilometers of the total length of the coastline, wherein we have so much of infrastructure. These star hotels are built on large expanse of land. Some of these hotels are located right on the beaches. So we have gone to the beaches and we have seen many of the hotels which were constructed few years back, not recently, but a few decades back. So they were constructed right on the beaches. They were constructed right on the sand dunes. But as per the Coastal Zone Regulation Act, no construction is allowed between 200 meters to 500 meters of high tide line. But despite of having a law, we have rampant constructions coming. They are all illegal structures. So when we visit the beaches, so we will know all these structures coming up there. The main tourist attractions on beaches is the shacks, very popularly known as the Cocoa Huts in Kanakon. The tourism department allocates about 364 shacks. These are official shacks, very official one. But apart from that, we have many unofficial shacks coming on the beaches. They are on the private properties, wherein neither municipality nor tourism department has any control on that. So some of the physical changes, what I have observed in the coastal areas includes the erection and upkeep of beaches, the dredging, the mining, the sand dune dressing, destruction of mangroves, and the salt pans. So very rich and sensitive ecological components are being destroyed. So we can just have a look at some of the photographs. This is Palolem Beach. You will be very surprised that this is a beach because there is a lawn there, there are banana plantation, and there are all types of ornamental trees there. See, this is right on the beach. I think from high tide line, this may be just about 50 to 60 meters. So this kind of physical changes we are trying to bring in just to make the tourist happy. But this will have a lot of negative ecological implications because they are using a lot of water for long and also fertilizers. So these fertilizers will have greater impact on the life that you find on the beach, maybe the microorganisms or maybe other sorts of life, including the coastal vegetation that you will find along the beaches. So this is one photograph that will tell us the entire story, what kind of physical changes and damage that we are doing to the habitat. This is a lawn. So in the background, in the background, you can see the sea, and here you can see all beautiful landscaping done on the beach. This particular part is of the berg, which is also an extension of the sand dune. So this is again at the Palolem Beach. So here again, you can find a small photograph in the inset, which will give us the same idea about what kind of changes that we are making in the coastal ecology. So here again, the same sort of beautification of the sand. Sand itself is an ecosystem. So we are trying to modify that ecosystem into something different, which is not at all part of the local system. So these plants don't belong to that sand dune. Sand dune has got its own vegetation. So we have destroyed entire vegetation there, and we have brought something from outside and we have planted it. This is another problem that I noticed. The pumping of water in CRZ is banned by law, but you can find people putting bore wells and extracting water by using pumps. By using mortars. Now, this will have a problem with the aquifer along the coastal area, and this can lead to intrusion of saline water into our fresh water. So if that happens, I'm sure what sort of ecological problem the local communities who are staying in that particular belt will have to face. So this is one problem. You go to any resort, you will have this kind of problem. uh, so this is one problem that we have faced, and the second one is the destruction of sand dune. I spoke about how sand dunes have been converted into the artificial ecosystems. Now let us look at how sand dunes have been destroyed. This is a visual from Kolwa. You can see in the backdrop, we have a very stable sand dune, and this sand dune has been destroyed for the construction of shacks. In coastal areas, in coastal areas, don't forget the importance of sand dunes. The sand dunes protect the intrusion of sea into the hinterland. That's the kind of natural protection they make. But unfortunately, we have been destroying these areas. This is a five-star hotel located at Kankan. This entire hotel has come right on the sand dunes, and they have converted sand dunes into landscapes. I have seen this particular structure coming up there. I was a very frequent visitor to this particular place. From road, if I had to go to the beach, I had to walk at least a distance of about 150 meters, and I would feel I was walking through the desert. That was the feel I used to have. But today there is a direct road connected to the beach, and you have a hotel there, and the entire sand dune either has been destroyed or it is converted into the lawn. So this is how you can see that curve of the sand dune. It's a beautiful stretch, but completely converted into the artificial lawn. So these kinds of changes we are bringing in the name of tourism. Yes, definitely we require tourism, no doubt about it. But the problem is to what extent we can bring changes, because these changes are long lasting, and once you bring a change, to bring it back to its originality is going to be a big challenge. So this is another beach resort. You can find in front there these stable sand dunes. Many sand dunes also have been destroyed, and this hotel has more or less come very close to the sand dunes. I'm not very much sure whether this has been destroyed, but right in front of me, all these pockets of sand dunes where vegetation has come and stabilized. Now, this vegetation on the sand dunes is very important because it will protect us from the incoming high waves of the sea. This is again another example of a hotel located right on the sand dunes. So you can very well and clearly you can see those sand dunes. So such, I think, action is very devastating for the future generation. So this shack has come right on the berm. So you have a beach, then you have a berm, then you have a sand dune. So here you can see not only this is a symbolic photograph I'm showing you, like there's hundreds of shacks we see right on the berm, and berms are very important for the protection of the coastal areas. This is another problem our beaches are facing because of the tourism. We require a lot of sand, and unfortunately, there is a ban on extraction of sand from the rivers. Then many people try to go to the beaches and illegally they extract sand. So this particular photograph is from Agon Beach, where it was right-handedly caught, people taking sand from the beaches. So local people must have thought, let us take sand and construct. But what kind of implications it will have over a period of time, they may not have imagined. So very, very destructive activity. So this is another example where sand has been extracted from the sand dune, which I have already addressed. A new shack is coming up here, so sand is taken out from there for the construction at some other place. Solid waste generation is another problem that we are facing, not only because of the tourism. Otherwise, it's an evergreen issue. But imagine 80 lakh people plus 15 lakh our own people, and then other visitors here and there. It's a huge number, and every person creates a waste of about 1.9 kg in an average. So these are the visuals from Bethel Bati and Benali beaches. So you can see how the coastal vegetation, which is very important, is destroyed. And here you can see that the beach is subjected to erosion. So therefore, a rock wall has been erected here. So when this wall is being erected here, so you can see right just behind this how we are damaging this particular vegetation. So vegetation is very important. So here you can find Sunday visitors. They will cook and then they will throw the garbage here and there. This is a common sight when we go, especially on Sundays. This is again the same beach where you can find a lot of garbage. People enjoying having picnic, very nice, no problem. But civic sense is horrible. So this is, I think, one beach where people would like to visit. That's the Butterfly Beach, a very small beach, and this is the trash that was collected by the local people from such a beautiful pocket beach. We call it as a pocket beach, but otherwise this is popularly known as Butterfly Beach. So this is remotely located. So to reach to this particular place, you will have to do a lot of tracking. And when you see it from the distance, you feel that you are in the heaven. But when you go actually onto the beach, you will know that there's so much of garbage piled up here and there. So that is how our people have been destroying. These are all tourists who come and they destroy by loitering, all such things. This is a visual from Kolva recently I've taken, and these small kids are doing a wonderful job. They will earn their livelihood from collecting all this waste. These are the kids of the Lamanis, so they are the rag pickers. We are damaging and they are cleaning. So this is how our education we are using for the society. This visual is from the location where last time this was in the news. Karan Johar with his team, he came to Goa for a shoot. And this is what happened when they left this particular place after the shooting. So there was a garbage everywhere. It became a national news also. It was reported in so many televisions, and also it appeared in our local newspapers. So that is one. Now coming back to again beaches. So you have huts, you have resorts, you have so many things. But the problem is with the waste. The waste generated in the kitchen, the waste generated in the toilet. So what is done? I think this photograph is self-explanatory. I did not explain anything. So you can see here what is happening. So it is allowed to percolate into the sand. So where this will go ultimately? This will go to the beach. This will go to the beach, and it will have a negative impact on the living organisms and also the visitors, at large. So this is the visual, and you can see here again how the wastewater is allowed to percolate right on the beach. This must be about close to 100 or 150 meters from the beach. So the same story here. You can see all these pipes. They are made to, go inside, and water is allowed to percolate inside. So since it is sand, it will not hold water. It will just push the water, and the waves might take all this wastewater into the sea. So it might be, going from slightly deeper, may not be visible right on the beach, but then somewhere after sinking it, then it will surely go and mixes with the beach. So this is one visual from Patne Beach. one of the beautiful beaches. So you can see how the wastewater from the close by houses, you can see here also, is just directly left into the Arabian Sea. So that will have again a negative impact on the local ecology, because they don't have any other system. They are forced to do it because houses are located in such conditions, in such areas where they cannot have any other alternate. Municipality cannot do anything here, so they have no other choice except leaving the wastewater into the sea directly. Now, this is another problem that we are facing. This is the direct result of unplanned tourism growth. We have in the audience there Venkatesh Prabhu Gaonkar. He is doing a work on land use, land cover change, and we have realized that tourism is creating a havoc. This is the picture of the Google of Palolem Beach in 2002, December 2002. So you hardly, would see anything here. Much of the tourism infrastructure is not here. You can see only the roads, and it's all beautiful green, except a few pockets here and there. But this is today, where the greenery has completely disappeared. The plantation has completely disappeared. The coastal vegetation has disappeared, and that is taken over by the infrastructure, the resorts, the houses, and all other things which are required for tourism development. So now the question is, at what cost? At what cost? We need to balance between ecology and development, but then unfortunately, when it comes to tourism, we are unable to maintain a balance between uh, uh, development and ecology. So this is one small example. Now, don't forget, tourism came to Kankorn somewhere in 1997, but tourism in Baga, Vagator, Anjuna started immediately after 1961. So, what would be the picture there? So Venkatesh will be able to tell us, because that is his favorite area. He has done a lot of work there. So he knows the amount of changes that have occurred in that part of Goa. So change in land use, land cover is another big threat. We may not have realized today, neither government may have realized that change in land use, land cover would become a headache in the days to come. The coastal villages in Goa become heat islands. And this heat islands is primarily because of change in the land use, land cover. So because of change in land use, land cover, the temperature is increasing because we have all, concrete jungle. So the land surface temperature is on a rise, which we have understood by looking into the numbers that we have got. So heat islands is another issue that the coastal villages in Goa in particular are facing. Of course, there are heat islands in the industrial areas and other areas, but because we have denuded the vegetation, thick vegetation, the coconut plantations and the mangroves and all other kinds of vegetation, and which is replaced with construction, has also giving rise to heat islands. So very, very serious problem that we will face in the near future. Aesthetic contamination. So when you enter the beaches now, what you find is all shabby presentation. This is at Kalangut Beach when I visited last time, and I could see a lot of unwanted construction happening right on the beach, right on the beach. So this is the government tourism resort. So in front of that, a lot of construction was happening. This is not sand. This is the soil which is brought from elsewhere. So that doesn't belong to this particular place. So this is how you will find a lot of contamination in the looks of the beaches. So aesthetic contamination is another problem that we are facing. Loss of public access. Many big tourism houses have bought land at many places, and there are traditional ways to reach out to the beaches and to other areas. So they have closed, they have put a gates, now people cannot reach. This is one particular, these are two places where from Kankon, South Kankon, you go to a beach called Kupang, one of the beautiful beaches, which has got a beautiful cave in the granite, in the basaltic rock. Basically, it is, yeah, it's a granitic rock, not a basaltic rock. In the granitic rock. So it's a beautiful beach, nice geological formations are there. I used to go very often, but the last time when I went, I saw the gate was closed and they said I cannot go. And similarly, there's another place where you can see they have constructed a compound, so you cannot go from there also. So like this, there are many places where these hospitality industry people have brought huge pieces of land, and they have blocked the public access. There are many activities like this. You know, some people cycle on the beaches. Some people take motorcycles. These activities are banned, but still, you know, we can find people enjoying their rides. So this leads to damage of beach ecology, because you will find so many organisms there, microscopic organisms. So when you put pressure on all these organisms with the excess of whatever, you know, you may call it as cycling or motorcycling or anything. And we also see many a times the jeep of the patrolling, you know, there's a squad, patrolling squad. So they also move so many times here and there. So that will have a lot of problem for the living organisms on the beaches. Destruction of mangroves is another issue that we are facing. We are building a beautiful infrastructure. So this infrastructure is for the tourists, definitely, no doubt. But look at Panaji, look at Kuttari, look at the other areas. You know, we have destroyed the mangroves. So this is one visual from Panjim, where mangroves are very important for protecting the coastal ecology. So we are recklessly cutting. We are not bothered about preserving these mangroves. There's also pressure on local resources. Water availability is less in Goa. Electricity is also very less available. Most of the resources are limited for us. So therefore, we depend on the neighboring states for our resources, because local resources are very much limited. And with tourism, we are putting more pressure. So this is one visual of a new year in Goa, in the north. So you can see the number of people visiting and the amount of pressure so they will cause on the ecology. So I don't have to talk about all this, so that's fine. So there's no problem. Let me come to the conclusion. The negative impact of tourism cannot be prevented completely, but it can be minimized. So when we want tourism, negative impact is going to stay. It is going to be there. But what we can do is we can minimize. For that, what we need to do is implement all the laws in the correct, in a true spirit. You have Coastal Regulation Zone Act, it has to be implemented. There are environmental protection acts, they need to be implemented. But we ignore all these laws. So therefore, we have more negative impact on the environment. Public awareness. So we have been creating public awareness. But somehow I think we have failed in creating awareness among the people. So the tourists come, they loiter here and there, they drink um, the beer and the liquor, and you will find while going on the road, so they throw bottles on the roadside. This is a common thing, you know, that I experience when I travel from Madgaon to Kanpur every day. So public awareness is very important. Until and unless I myself want to do something, we will not be able to bring any kind of change in the environment. So public awareness is very important. So I think if we can do this, I'm sure we'll be able to take the maximum advantage of tourism. So thank you very much, sir, for giving me this beautiful opportunity to share some of my thoughts on the impact of tourism on environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nadaf, Dr. Nadaf, for your perspective